Hey, everybody in podcast land. I'd like to welcome you back for another edition of Selective Memories with Nick and Jay. I'm your host, as always, Nick the Man Falcone, and my co host and still heading for the 90s, living in the wild, wild west, Jay Mesher. Jay, how you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself today, Nick?
Doing fine, doing fine. It's a snowy day out there. Makes it nice and warm inside, but it's as a wise man once said, the air is just right for drinking, and it's just right for podcasts as well.
Yeah, it looks like I should have some kind of green screen behind me because it looks like I'm outside in a winter wonderland right now. So I look like I could be doing some kind of on the spot weather report or something like that, but I'm not. This is just from my office.
This is just you. You are not you're not working for any of the major networks. Not calling the Western PA weather.
Not yet. I have not got that call yet. I'm still waiting.
Still waiting. Well, as we start this episode, I mean, as always, I think as everyone will starting to see with us as being, two fathers of the late Generation X, Xennial. Let's call it our birth years, as we will, and being fathers of still fairly young children. Our topics range pretty much to our glory years, if you will, of the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, where our heads take us. But this week, after seeing the truly dismantling of our hometown Pittsburgh Pirates roster, is now fully cleaned house. I think everything plus the groundskeeper was traded away, so there is nothing left. This is a full Major League Cleveland Indians '89 situation of just calling up Lou Brown to see if he wants to manage. I think we're in about that shape now. So thought we'd bounce around today, and Jay, you want to take us off? I think as we're looking at our generation of Hollywood and our favorite movies, we can put together some pretty strong fictional baseball lineups. How do you want to run this, my man?
So I was thinking, I don't know if you play fantasy football or any of those fantasy games, but typically when you do that, you have what's called a snake draft, kind of a back and forth. Somebody has the first pick. Next person goes next. So there's no duplication based on position or players. Just trying to field the best lineup we could possibly come up with. Mm-hmm. So for an example, you going first, you make a selection, then it's my turn. I'll get 2 picks and we'll go back and forth like that. 1 pick for you, 2 for me, and then 2 for you, 1 for, back and forth until we get the complete roster, first base all the way through pitcher and a closing pitcher. I think we decided we were going to put a closing pitcher in here. Just, our favorite characters from our favorite baseball movies that we've seen since we were kids, or even now. There might be some modern names in here, might be some ones we've some on podcast land maybe never heard of before, so it might entice you to go out and check out the movie to see what all the buzz is about. But that was kind of our idea here, just to do our own fantasy draft of coming up with our best ultimate lineup for a baseball movie.
I'm a big fan of it, and I think just ground rules. I think in my mind, when you're picking a player, it is of that movie's plot, of that time, and what level they're playing at. So let's just say that you pick somebody from The Sandlot. Well, that's of that. They don't have to necessarily play against current Major League. I think right. It's of that time and place. That's right. That's the level of skill they're playing at.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay. So if I take the first pick, then you'll have numbers 2 and 3 and do it like that, or do you want to?
It's up to you if you want to do that, or if you want to just go by position and tell me, what player you want at this position. I'll tell you what player I'll take.
Okay. Well, why don't we start at? Why don't you start us off, and I'll take the first, you take the second, and then the next position. Then we'll swap and then alternate my position.
Okay. Not bad.
So what position we starting at?
I mean, the most important position, in my opinion, you gotta have good starting pitching in
Hmm.
today's game, and even in the movies. Having
Hmm.
good starting pitching is the best. Now, even though this guy absolutely lit it up in the Mexican leagues, when he got the call up to the major league level, he was a little shaky to start, but he did turn things around at the end. My first round opening day starter is going to be Mr. Steve Nebraska.
Oh, that was my sneak. That was my
Oh
sneaker in there.
yeah,
Was going Steve Nebraska. Once he had his head worked out,
that's right.
he was going to be my. I was like, can I slide Steve Nebraska past Jay? So obviously I can't. So I think that's a solid pick. He can hit and he can pitch. I think he's the anomaly player. So this is where, because I have him playing elsewhere, I'd love to say Roy Hobbs before he gets shot would have been the ultimate pitcher, but since that's really not where his character arc in the movie goes, I then will have to go, and it may be, it may be cliche, but I'm going with the young arm. I'm going with brute strength. And I'm not putting him in the closer position. I'm putting him starting off. Once he gets his stuff together, I'm going with Wild Thing Ricky Vaughn.
Ricky Vaughn. Okay,
Hmm.
okay, solid pick.
So
And
now, did
I,
you have him? Let me ask: did you have him as a closer, or did you have him as a starter?
I had him on my. He was on my board as a closer, but I could
Okay.
see him be a starter as well. And we're talking to each other because we've seen both of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who haven't, Steve Nebraska is in a lesser known baseball movie called The Scout, starring Brendan Fraser and Albert Brooks. Uh, I mean, we're talking what, early 90s for that, probably.
I want to say, just off the top of my head, and honestly, I want to say like 93, 94, somewhere around there.
And then Ricky Vaughn, for those of you who don't know, I mean, you'll hear a lot of references, I'm sure, as we keep going on, not just this show, but any show from the movie. I believe late 80s, Major League. That's the Charlie Sheen character in Major League. Fantastic movie if you haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. So, so we went starting pitching. Are we moving right to who's behind the plate for him, or do you want to go around the horn? Where are we heading next?
This being your pick, you can pick whichever position you want to go with next.
Okay, so I think we'll go with catcher since this is my position. And here's the two I'm between, and I'm torn because I'm between uh, Crash Davis and Jake Taylor. I think both are the Swami, Morgan Freeman, Shawshank esque men behind the men who
Okay.
who really are the ones pulling the strings there. And this is tough. This is tough, but I'm going Crash Davis.
Solid. From the movie Bull Durham, Crash
Yes.
Davis and Bull Durham.
Mm-hmm.
And who is your other possible?
Was Jake Taylor from Major
Jake
League.
Taylor, Major
Mm-hmm.
League, right? Okay, okay, yeah, both very solid picks. Um, because I thought they would probably be on your board, I
Mm-hmm.
purposely didn't have them down as one of my either or, just in case you. So I'm kind of torn for different reasons. Both of these catchers are fantastic as far as the defensive prowess. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, both of them can just spray the ball, I think, wherever they want to go. It's just a matter if you want somebody in a more serious role behind the plate, or if you want the trash talker. Because for the trash talker, I have Hamilton Porter, the great Hambino.
Gambino. See, that's where I was going with the Sandlot because it's of their skill level of where they're playing.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
you want somebody who you trust behind the plate to handle your pitcher, but also to get in the head of the opposing batters as well. He was
Mm-hmm.
very good at doing that. And my other pick was Dottie Henson from League of Their Own.
Completely threw me off left field because I'm like, will he go to the All American Girls Baseball League? But he went to. Okay, I like it. I like it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I mean, it's a tough pick. You know what? I'm gonna stick with Dottie Henson. She was the MVP of that team. Just an absolute stud. All over the place. Probably the best, not just MVP of that team, but of the entire league, I would say. Dottie Henson. That's my pick for the catcher.
I like it. I like it. And I mean, there's still the sisterly love there. I mean, could she really put her out at the plate? You know, I mean, let's let Hollywood just tell the story there. I mean,
You think she dropped the ball on purpose at that play at the plate?
I don't know if her heart was in it to hold on to that ball like she normally would.
I don't know if she knows how not to play all out all the time. She
Yeah.
doesn't care who she's going against.
Mhm.
Her mother could be sliding into home and she would hold on the ball as much as she could. I don't think she threw that.
Okay. So we have two difference of opinions there of how we think that's going. You know,
Uh-oh. You getting the
Nope.
call.
Getting the call up.
Is that the networks?
That is not the network. That is not the network's calling for us. I do not believe. I don't know what that is.
Do we forget to run a sponsor? This episode brought to you by Zachary Mesher, attorney at law. See him for all your will, estate,
Estate planning.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so we got our pitcher, we got our catcher. I believe I have the next pick. We're gonna go first
Do you
base.
think you can edit this? Can you hang on 1 second? I just want to make sure that's not an important call.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
The crank anchors. So this will be a nice time for me to remind all of you at home to follow us on Facebook at Selective Memories, on Twitter at Drama Dads, and our YouTube channel where you can view all of our episodes, Selective Memories, all one word, on the YouTube channel. Do it in the search bar. If you have ideas for topics, for guests, for whatever, you can feel free to email the show at dramadads@gmail.com. That's dramadads, plural, at gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. And it looks like our fearless leader is back in the saddle.
Looks like some Sunday spam may have gotten us there. The fundraising for the police, the state police fund. If you've gotten that spam call ever, yeah, it's a classy one. It's a classy one. All right, so I'm back in the saddle. Where are we headed?
We'll go. Let's see. We did pitcher, we catcher. We'll just go right around the diamond. We'll go to first base.
Okay.
You know, a tough call here. Two different movies, two, I believe, very beautifully mustachioed players at first base from the 80s. I'm picking either Clu Haywood from the movie Major League. He was not on the Indians; he was on the Yankees.
Yes.
A big Indian killer, as they say in the
As
movie.
they say. Yep.
The biggest Indian killer of them all. Or from Mr. Baseball, Jack Elliott. Very accomplished hitter, just unworldly power, whether he was in the United States, Japan, wherever. He was just a tattooer of the ball. You know what? I've been going kind of off the cuff a little bit. I'm gonna pick Jack Elliott for my first baseman, Mr. Tom Selleck from Mr. Baseball.
Very nice. I like the call. I think once he figured out how to play overseas, I think he got his head back in the game. He got into that team mentality. He was able to hit the Japanese curve. He was in it, and then probably in his prime, he was a strong player. I mean, you just know that he was an all-star, but at the end of his rope at that point, and nobody wanted to play with him. So I like that call. I'm actually going to throw one. See if it's allowed by the rule book, but because of his age, I'm moving him to first base so I can get him on my lineup. This may be set the commenters afire, but I'm moving Roy Hobbs to first base.
First base? That's going to set me on fire. Come on.
Well, here's the thing. To start the movie, he's a pitcher and then gets cut down in his prime.
Right.
Then he's now where's he in the outfield? Because he took
yes.
Yeah, because he took Bump Bailey's position.
Yes.
I don't think he really has the speed, and that bullet is still in his gut that I have to contend with. So I want to take that strain off him, and I just want his bat. So I'm putting Roy at first base.
Oh boy.
I think he can play first base just like in Moneyball when they, it's not that hard. It's ridiculous. It's very, it's not that hard.
Who they put at first base in Moneyball? That Scott Hatterberg.
Scott Hatterberg. I've never played first base. It's easy. It's incredibly difficult. What is it? What is it?
I love it. I love having a little controversy in the draft, especially early on. This will, like you said, it'll set people's minds are racing. Whether they agree or disagree with being able to move players around. I'm okay with it. It's just for fun. So where you want to go next?
I guess we'll go right. We'll just move around I guess we go to second base.
Okay.
So second base, I feel like I want a solid defensive player there. This is I'm gonna yield to you on just who's on your sheet to see if we matched. Who's on your sheet at second?
All right. Again, I had told Nick off the air that I came up with 2 players for every position, pretty much, just in case we had duplication, so I don't pick the same player he picks. For second base, I'm between Marla Hooch on League of Their Own, or Kelly Leak for the Bad News Bears.
Okay, so I didn't go Marla Hooch because I just, for some reason, my mind wasn't going to League of Their Own. It should have for some solid talent there, but I'm Kelly Leak all the way at second.
And Kelly Leak, you don't have to move him around. He, in the movie, moves everywhere. He runs all the way out to like right field to catch a fly ball. He'll just to cover up for Lupus.
But I think at second base, you want that mind controlling that infield, and I think at second, I think he can do that for you. I think he's, I think he's in a solid position where he's a good cutoff. I think he's my second baseman all the way. Kelly,
you can't go wrong from a defensive standpoint.
Yep.
Marla Hooch, I mean, what can you say? What a hitter!
What a hitter! What a league!
What a league! But wait. Girls playing baseball? But I mean, so far, it's going to be tough to find a ballpark that would keep any of these hits from staying in it. I mean, I have Dottie Henson, I have Jack Elliott, and Marla Hooch. I mean, the ball is just going to be traveling out. It's going to be like Coors Field back in the mid 90s. I
think you're going to have to go like archaic. You're going to have to go back to like Forbes Field and the Polo Grounds to keep this ball in play. You're going to have like 480 to keep this ball in play. Because if you're playing at PNC Park, I don't know if a ball is hit, in the infield.
480 in the left field corner
where they kept the batting cage. Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay. So we got Kelly. So I guess the all important position. You want to take us to shortstop or?
Yeah, we're gonna go shortstop, and I'm probably stealing your pick here, but
it's okay.
Those are the rules. I'm going back to. Well, I haven't picked anybody from the Sandlot yet, so I am taking Benny the Jet Rodriguez. I mean, just all around mega talent. He's one of those, what they call him, a 5-tool player. He can do it all, and anything you need. Swipe a base for you, hit the ball over the fence. Solid glove, great arm. I mean, what more do you need? He's probably in modern day terms, he's probably a 30-30 hitter year after year after year. 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases, and he could do that in his sleep.
That kills me because that was my shortstop call there. I thought maybe I'd slide one by you, but for those that don't know, we watched this film in a parking lot back at the beginning of the pandemic in downtown Bell Vernon, beautiful downtown Bell Vernon, I might add. So that one stings me a little bit. Who was your number 2?
Tanner Boyle from Bad News Bears.
I don't want to seem like I'm just piggybacking off you, but there's my short because I had a feeling I was going to lose Benny the Jet, so I put Tanner Boyle in there.
I mean, he just the kind of spark your team always needs, and he's never afraid to stand up for a teammate, which is what ultimate team player, what you need in a clubhouse, you know?
Exactly. He is the Jay Bell of the Bad News Bears. He's fighting. He's crafty. He doesn't have the size, but he's everything. He's everything you need. So
Took on the
I'm
whole took on the whole second grade or
yeah,
whatever grade it was. Took on the whole sixth grade, seventh
sixth
grade,
grade.
whatever. Yeah, took them all on. He just wants to play ball. That's
That's
what he
all.
tells Buttermaker. Heck no,
That's
I
all he
just
wants to do.
yeah.
That's all I was. So okay, so I got Tanner Boyle. So okay. So I'll take number 2 there. So moving over to third base. So this is another spot where
This is tough. This is a tough position.
this is a tough position just for Hollywood because I really was striking out on third base. I felt like I had to move somebody around like I did to try to steal Hobbs off the off the radar for you. But
Pardon the pun.
yeah, because I can't take Willie Mays' legs out of the outfield.
No.
Yeah. Oh, this is difficult. Who are the 2 you had for third? Because I'm drawing a blank.
Well, third base is, like I said, a really tough position.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of Hollywood movies don't focus on third base.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple names. I did some searches. I did a little bit of research. One that came up a lot was the guy from Angels in the Outfield. I don't remember the guy's name. I don't remember the third baseman. You know,
I mostly just remember because Tony Danza was the old over the hill pitcher, right?
yes.
That's because
Yeah.
I was thinking he came up on my list of like that if we how many closers we were gonna, how many of the bullpen we were put on this list because he's a guy that can get you an inning just with his heart. And obviously got through the inning without the Angels.
I'm looking up this guy so I can see it, but I'll come back to it. But the 2 that I had on my list, one I don't necessarily want on my team because at third base you want a pretty solid glove. They don't call it the hot corner for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So for third base, you want a guy who can definitely hit the ball, but definitely can field it. Roger Dorn's on the list, but he can't field the ball. Every GM will tell you that he cannot field the ball. He can hit good, he just can't field it. So
he just can't field it.
Yeah, so I don't know if I want that on my team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got the guy for third base on Angels in the Outfield was named Ray Mitchell.
Okay.
I don't know.
Trying to think, was he the young? I remember it, and I remember it vividly because it came out when the Pirates were hosting the All-Star game in '94, and they showed it at Three Rivers, which at the time then was the stat for like the largest movie gathering. Yeah, it went. I don't know if it still holds it, but it went in the Guinness Book of World Records because they showed it during that week leading up to the All-Star game. So they had like 65,000 watch it at Three Rivers.
Jeez. I mean, this is from the Bleacher Report. He was played by Stoney Jackson, whoever that is. And the write-up, the reason why he was their choice for third base, he had a big-time bat and was a Gold Glove caliber third baseman. Is also part of one of my favorite lines in the movie. Hammerling to Mitchell, go back to Cincinnati, which I didn't see Angels in the Outfield that many times to quote it, so I don't know. But long story short, Roger Dorn was one of my 2. The other one was somebody I do some research on. Sam Tuttle for Love of the Game was third baseman for the Yankees. I think it said he had 3 or 4 straight 30-30 seasons, 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases. So, and he was considered a pretty good glove, at third base. So I'm going to pick Sam Tuttle for Love of the Game. I'm leaving Roger Dorn out there.
Okay, and I'm just going to take this as a true mulligan because I whiffed on the position. I'll take Dorn even with his defensive struggles because I think after my starter, to no fault of his own, ends up in bed with Dorn's wife. Dorn plays a hell of a game, so I think I'll keep that fire in his belly. He'll at least get me a series, I think.
You're going to have some serious clubhouse issues, I think, having both I wrote Vaughn and Dorn on your team.
But don't forget, I got Hobbs sitting down there. I think there's some, and I got Crash. I think even though with some hotheads in there, I think the overall fire and passion of the game prevails, and I think those guys work it out.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
so
now we're in the outfield.
now all bets are off because now you're really getting into Hollywood. And I think your outfielders are where it's at. So I guess we'll go center. You want to go center field?
Sure.
Since I'll let you have another number one again, since of the third base debacle, but then I'm gonna take one of the right or left field. So you got first pick in center.
That's good because I only had one name written down for center field. So
Okay.
I got Willie Mays Hayes, my
That's.
center fielder.
I mean,
I couldn't come up with anybody else. That's all I have.
you might as well then. I guess since you have Willie Mays Hayes, I'm gonna have to take. I'm gonna have to take. I'm gonna have to move a position because I don't think I really have another.
Where are you moving Hobbs to now?
Yeah, well, Hobbs, I put it first, so I can't go back on it. So I guess I'm going to have to take Bump Bailey, and Bump doesn't go through the wall for me. I mean, can I at least get a caveat that I get him while he's alive?
Could you have taken? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
Mhm.
Where did Shoeless Joe play?
Well, see, I don't think that's because I totally ruled out 8 men out because you're dealing with real players. And
Right.
same even in Field of Dreams. Like I would have loved to put Moonlight Graham somewhere, but that's still a real person, I believe.
Okay.
So I couldn't take and that was a big oh my dad would slap me if that was Burt Lancaster, I believe,
Yes.
playing his
Yes.
final role. Yep. Or if not his final role, it was one of his final roles. But so good. At least I remembered that. So yeah, I 8 men out and Field of Dreams, I just had to put on a wall because you're dealing with real players. So yeah, I guess I'd love to take Shoeless Joe, but I think that's unfair to what we're putting together here.
Okay. I didn't know about the real life versus Hollywood thing, and I had Moonlight Graham in one of my other outfield positions, but I've since scratched him off. Scratch him
This
off.
guy's dead. Cross him off then. Most of the ones I do know are way past their prime. Some of these guys never had a prime. Okay, so I gave you third and center. I think was very fair considering I whiffed at third. But let's go right field because I feel like that's the true place for him. I'm putting Pedro Serrano. He works out the curve at the end. I think then he puts it together next season. Serrano's my guy, and he's your wild thing. Not taking his nomenclature away, but he's the wild man in the clubhouse too. Voodoo or not, Serrano's my guy.
Everybody has to believe in something. It might as
Yeah.
well be voodoo.
Mhm.
Since I didn't move anybody anywhere, I will play Roy Hobbs as natural position. I believe it was right field.
Okay.
After the gunshot.
Okay.
That's why he's in right. Bullet Lodge still in there. The mobility is a little suspect. So right field, you're not really super busy out there too much. Speaking personally from somebody who's been on a lot of beer league teams and don't have the legs for anything. They just stick me out in right field. So and I don't have an arm, I don't have legs, but I contribute other ways. But yeah, that Roy Hobbs can definitely make up for his lack of range with the bat.
Okay. I'm feeling it. So if we move, so I took Pedro. So if we move over to left, who's your call then for left?
Very unheralded.
Mhm.
Came a long way from when he first started out in the movie. Complete turnaround. I might have had, it was probably, obviously it was the summer of his life that summer. I'm going with Scotty Smalls in left field.
Scotty Smalls. Okay, so you're going with the Cinderella pick of
Yes,
he learns the game and he's taking it. Okay.
learns the game, hits a home run,
Mhm.
brings the whole movie to the the conflict, the resolution. He just does it all. He was the glue, I think, that the Sandlot crew was missing. So that's what I need in my clubhouse.
That's what you need. Okay. Now I am. This is another move, and this could bite me, and it may hurt me because this is where he was not happy to play, and I may have to move him with bump, but that's my prerogative as a manager. But I'm taking Bobby Rayburn from the Fan. I'm taking the other Wesley Snipes role since you took him in center. And I think Rayburn's true position was center, but then he gets moved somewhere in the outfield until
Yes.
De Niro takes a shiv to his challenging or something with his number, something about that. But I'm moving him over to left, and I think my outfield can survive. So I'm taking Bobby Rayburn.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I think we've covered every position except game on the line. You need 3 outs.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go call to the bullpen, bottom of the ninth. You get the first pick. Who you bringing in to win the game for you? Shut it down.
I would have liked to have him in a starting position, but I went with my gut with Ricky Vaughn. But I'm taking the nuke coming out of the bullpen. I'm taking Calvin the nuke Lelouch coming in the bullpen because I think that arm when you need it is just going to be lights out. I mean, it's what point in his career do you take him? I mean, obviously he's a starting menace, but I had to make my call there, and that was where I was on the fence. Do I put, because I was worried that you were going to take the Wild Thing off me, so I had to take the Wild Thing up early. So I'm putting Nuke coming out of the bullpen.
And he can paint the corners. Nuke can put anywhere you want. He can hit the mascot if you need him to. Whatever you need.
And I've got Crash behind the plate. So really, where am I? I've got the doctor there guiding him through. So.
So for my closer, for different reasons than yours, this young man started off by a freak accident, being able to just mow people down left and right. But then his arm healed to the way a normal 12-year-old kid's arm should feel, and he started throwing the floater ball. Now, I don't think he can last more than 3 batters on the floater ball.
No, he can't.
So if I'm putting Steve Nebraska out there to start, they're seeing 7, 8 solid innings of straight heat, of unhittable stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm bringing in a complete opposite direction. We're going Henry Rowan-Gardner, throwing the floater ball that his mom taught him. Mm-hmm. Let it go. Let it go.
Float it.
Float it.
Float it. Mm-hmm.
Just coming in, whiff city, 9 swings, forget it. The game's over. Mm-hmm. That's my top to bottom Hollywood starting lineup. And I think your team against my team, I think it'd be a pretty solid game all around.
I think defensively, yours is going to be a tough. I think mine has a little bit of magic in the late innings, but I think defensively, I think you'd take me because I had to move some guys around to get everybody I wanted there. Because I think there's a lot on the bench. I mean, just to rattle off players, pitchers is where most comes up because Hollywood loves to make movies about pitchers. Right. You've got Chappell and for the love of the game. Who else do we have? Chet the Rocket Stedman from Rookie of the Year. I'm trying to think.
You have Eddie Harris from Major League.
Oh, the crafty veteran, and little big league. Who was the pitcher in that?
I don't remember. Timothy Busfield played the first baseman, I believe. Mm-hmm. I don't remember who the pitcher was in Little Big League. Another one from Major League would be not Clu Haywood, the Duke for the closer. He led the league in
nose hair.
He led the league in most categories, including hit batsman. He even threw his own kid in the father-son game.
This guy.
Tony Danza
Yes. And there's also, I mean, you have a couple more positions in there because you do have Jack Parkman from Major League Two,
was a little shimmy.
and Downtown Anderson from Major League back to the minors.
Yes. Yeah,
I think, I mean,
downtown
there's some
Anderson.
power, especially once he let himself be taught. He went downtown. How could you ask for better than that?
For pitchers, you can always circle back to Amanda Workitzer from Bad News Bears.
And you can also have Buttermaker, because wasn't he a pitcher as well, or wasn't that his character? Walter Matthau, wasn't he a pitcher?
I believe he was. Yeah, yeah. Was it? How about Rudy? Did Rudy Stein pitch when Amanda got hurt? I think Rudy Stein
Rudy
pitched.
stepped in. Yep.
Yeah.
And not even. I mean, if you went to TV, you've got Sam Malone in there. I mean, former Boston Red Sox.
You got Tony Maselli.
Tony. Hey, what you exactly? You got Tony. You got so many Tonys, you don't even know what to deal with.
But that was fun. There was a lot of trips down memory lane there. For those of you who may have not seen some of these baseball movies or don't recognize some of these characters, go back and watch them, because most of the ones we referenced are comedies. Even the ones that weren't are still, very enjoyable and a good thing to do, especially in the wintertime. Just find some old movies to watch.
Mm-hmm. Very, very solid. So I think we got some solid lineups in there, and like anything, I think there's a lot of critique. I mean, you could go either way. I mean, I think you could throw the book at me for playing guys out of position, but I can only pick them once. So I wanted my roster. So if I have to move them around, I have to move them around. But
yeah, that's
that
right.
being said,
Injury situations, dictate where people play. What are you going to do?
Very, very, very much so. Well, to shift gears, but on our usual nostalgia track, and my man Jay brought up this idea, and I liked it, so I think we're going to run with it. So this is the time of year we're coming out of. When you were growing up, there were traditional dances throughout the year. Mostly all schools had a homecoming dance. Mine was informal for homecoming. A lot of homecomings were formal dances. You had a Sadie Hawkins where the girls asked the guys. You went right into your Christmas dance. And then usually you went at that point, you had some in some form, but I know we always had a Valentine's Day dance, and then that led into your prom. So, but if we go back to middle school, because this puts us, right when dances started for us, I think let's have the top 5 songs that would get you on the dance floor. And I'm saying you have to have a minimum. I mean, if you want to throw out more, that's fine. But you have a minimum 2 slow songs for your 5 lists. Can you roll with that, Jay?
Well, I mean, being middle school, very few songs would actually get me out on the dance floor, but I can tell you some of the songs that you would definitely hear at my middle school dances. It doesn't matter what the occasion was. These ones were all huge back in my day, and we're talking early 90s. I graduated.
You're freezing up on me.
What's that? Hello? You there? Nick? Hello? Experiencing some technical difficulties here, apparently. We'll wait a few minutes to see if Nick gets back. Looks like he may be back. The red microphone is now gone. Welcome back.
So I'm not sure what happened. You froze up on me, then it kicked me out. So I'm not sure. It must be my internet that did that. So the last thing I'm sorry I caught from you is you weren't getting out on the dance floor, but you can tell me the top 5 songs.
Well, maybe not top 5, but just 5 that I can definitely remember being played at these middle school dances. All My Life by Casey and JoJo.
Okay.
Probably a slow one. Next one, very controversial, especially when it first came out. I think there was actually, and those of you who went to school with me can kind of back me up. I think there was some kind of rule that this could not be asked to be played at any school dances. But
Mhm.
if anybody's familiar with the song "Freak Me" by Silk,
I went to Catholic school, so Freak Me was not played, but I definitely could feel you. I like it.
you want to get people moving, you want to get them feeling good. House of Pain, Jump Around.
That's on my list.
Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe also
Mhm.
gets the body rocking. And last but not least, to bring it home, I mean, you want to get with that special someone and um, do share a slow dance before the night is over. You waited till this one came on. I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston.
Well, you went the bodyguard. You went with Kevin Costner, not in a baseball movie.
And honorable mention, I had End of the Road by Boys to Men.
End of the Road was definitely one of those. Actually, I think most DJs was an end of the night song. It was just made for them. But I think it was depressing enough, so I didn't put End of the Road on my list. So my two slow dances for my career are I Swear.
Oh yeah, which version?
I think the um, that was that all for one.
All for One or John Michael Montgomery?
Yeah, all for one is the one I'm thinking of. So I'm
Okay.
going all for one, I swear. And then in that same vein, um, we did it all for one and all for love.
Oh wow.
The trifecta of Rod Stewart. That was Rod Stewart, Brian Adams, and Sting, if I recall, for
I
the
believe
Three
you are correct.
Musketeers movie. Thank you, my good man. But those were two. I was definitely pulling a lady for to slow dance to both of those, and then three party songs. I had Tag Team, who are now featured in a amazing car insurance commercial.
It is phenomenal. I crack up every time it's on. Every
Wait,
time. Especially
uh,
the guy going dancing. Yeah, yeah.
and then when the couple are kicking at the end, and then sprinkles. I mean, I'm so happy to see that they were able to find Tag Team and that they're still kicking.
We're
Um,
back again.
Back again. That was in there. Definitely Jump Around. Come On Eileen was a big one for
Ooh,
us because that got everyone out there. And I was a dancer. I was the first guy to get out there, and then got the other guys to follow because it was mostly the girls would start dancing, none of the guys were. So
right.
I was definitely jumping out for that. Um,
Wow.
definitely was a fan of the Grease Mega Mix when they created that one
Oh yeah.
that had your Grease Lightning, Summer Lovin', had them all the mashup together. That was
One that I want.
oh one. I mean, if you all bets are off when that comes on because
Oh yeah.
everybody's enjoying it. What I also was it just slipped out of my mind, but where was I going to next? We were also big, even though we were, this was mid 90s, we still pulled out Wang Chung, Everybody Have Fun Tonight,
Wow.
and Georgia Satellites.
Keep your
Keep your
hands to
hands to
yourself.
yourself. That was a popular one as well. So I mean, there are so many and so many cassette tapes running through my mind when you brought that up. Especially, I mean, we had so many one hitters because even though thinking middle school, but then going to high school, you had some one hit wonders like the Venga Boys and the Barbie song, and then you had Shaggy come into prominence. I mean, there's a lot of good dance music, a lot of good dance music out there.
Awesome. I could see Shaggy being in a car insurance commercial down the line. If they can bring
I think
Tag
it's
Team back.
only a matter of time.
Yes. Yes, it'd be phenomenal.
My to round out my list though is Montel Jordan. This Is How We Do It.
Mm. It's Friday night.
Mm-hmm. And I Feel All Right. And for Catholic school, that was slid in there. So, you couldn't tell what all the lyrics were going with. So it was able to slide in under the radar
Oh
there. But
yeah.
yeah. So solid. Yeah.
Those sound like two
Mhm.
very good playlists that would
Yeah.
get anybody up out of their seat for sure.
Now, in terms of the line dancing, that you always had a DJ, especially at school dances, would pull out the electric slide.
Hmm.
And then I remember when Billy Ray Cyrus came to prominence, "Achy Breaky Heart," which that was one where I'd go for. That was a refreshment or restroom trip because I was never big on country line
Hmm.
dancing. I'd go out there for the electric slide, which then moved into the Macarena, and then the what do we have
Come on,
now?
ride the train. We had the Tootsie Roll.
Tootsie Roll was, I mean, that, yeah, I was on the train. And then, of course, depending on how old your DJ was their version of the locomotion. They either pulled out the original 60s or the 80s locomotion.
Oh
And
man.
my personal fave, my man Buster Poindexter, "Hot, Hot, Hot." That was that I went. I think I don't think I've ever was at a wedding growing up between the 80s and 90s that didn't have "Hot, Hot, Hot" and Bob Seger, "Old Time Rock and Roll." I think that played at
Yeah,
every wedding I went to.
definitely more the latter for me, but
Yeah.
the hot, hot, hot.
Mhm.
It's very interesting that we didn't go to high school, miles and miles away. I mean, maybe
Mhm.
what, like 15, 20 miles.
If
Uh,
that, yeah.
some of these songs you're saying,
Mhm.
they wouldn't come close to playing those at one of my dances. Like "Achy Breaky Heart," no chance. There
Yep.
was no "Hot, Hot, Hot," nothing
Mhm.
like that. I don't know. Just two completely different cultures.
I think you pulled from a little different area than I.
Little bit different area, yeah.
Yep. We pulled from all these school districts, but I
Oh,
mean, you had it's tough because each year there was like the trendy song. Because I can even remember like when Meatloaf had his comeback, I can remember that playing at dances. But I won't do that. You know,
uh-huh.
I would do anything for love. So that I can just see there's so many uh and I could see the DJs like setting up too, and they would have, once CDs became the standard, but still had records, some had cassettes going. Like
Oh
now
yeah,
you just need an iPod. I mean, it couldn't be easier to be a DJ. Not I
yeah,
mean, this isn't high fidelity John Cusack. I mean, that's a real DJ. So when you make
right.
your mixtape, you got to start it off strong, but then you got to take it up even another notch. Mm,
Very, very underrated movie. I love that movie.
yep. I think Jay and I have had further discussions, even though the two part of the John Cusack Bible he needs to educate himself in of "One Crazy Summer" and "Better Off Dead." But I think we both fall in the same status of a big fan of John Cusack, whatever he's in.
Absolutely, yeah. If I'm flipping around, I see a movie that he's on TV, I'll usually stick around and keep watching, even if I've seen it 100 times. But
Mhm.
they don't show "Better Off Dead" or "One Crazy Summer" in repetition anymore. So it's tough to
Yeah,
find.
and I don't know what happened. I'm a big nerd when it comes to those because I love going on IMDb. For anyone out there who wants to get all this trivia and stuff that it's all verified, but trivia that's on there, I love reading all that because so you kind of find out some inner workings of why some movies aren't played, or it could be because the studio that made it is bought out by another studio, or someone doesn't have the rights to play it. So why things are on TV and why they're not, because that used to be like your Saturday afternoon. I can remember watching for whatever reason, like Top Gun was on like every Saturday. The
Yeah.
Blues Brothers were constantly on. Like TBS, I felt like Ted Turner owned like certain movies because it's like now I don't know if you can go through a week without seeing Shawshank Redemption on a channel. I mean, it's I don't think you'd ever need to put in your own copy of Shawshank. It's on.
A Few Good Men used to be in that same vein where you would just flip it on. TNT would always be showing
Mhm.
Few Good Men.
And it was on yesterday as I was going around that great what used to be the Spike TV became the Paramount Network because
Oh
Paramount has
yeah,
some great movies. So that's one that comes up there. And IFC plays a lot of that. The IFC plays a lot of Tarantino movies. So like Inglorious Bastards has been on a lot, and Pulp Fiction, and
I
so
do like that channel. Every lunch break, and I work at home now every day, so every lunch break I'll go over and put on Paramount Network 'cause there's always episode of Bar Rescue on there with John Taffer. That's how I spend my lunch break, watching
shut it
Bar
down.
Rescue.
Shut it
Yeah,
down.
Here's a POS system for you. I'll give you two. It's always somebody. They always need a POS system. Every
Always
player.
need a POS, and then the company that does like all the liquid levels.
Bartender.
Yeah, the bar. Yeah,
Bartender.
bartender. Yep.
Free plug for bartender.
If they want to give us a call. We always need sponsors.
That's right. We'll do a segment just for you, bartender. Thank you.
I would have John Taffer on here in a second, with or without his sport jacket. He could just send his sport jacket and he could just sit on camera for us. That's all.
I just don't want him telling me what a mess I am and how, don't critique the show while you're on it, like you do when you go in the bars and everything, because we're kind of sensitive.
Yep. The one thing I always know is coming out of the kitchen, pizza is the moneymaker. So he's always going to shrink down the menu, make the special cocktails.
Oh yeah.
Simple, but special. Yep.
Vic Vegas cooking up something good in the kitchen. Vic Vegas.
Classic guy.
Oh boy. Where would you like to take us next? What segment would you like to move us on to here?
Well, I think our take us home topic usually comes back to movie quoting in some way. So what do you think about it? What do you want to do today?
Well, I thought maybe I would pick your brain a little bit. There's probably
the Ask Nick section. I like it.
Ask Nick, stump the Nick.
Okay.
Although, I try my best to try to find some good movie quotes to read to you. You can just tell me the movie, but some of them are very easy. So there's going to be some softballs in here. Some of them might make you think for half a second, but I'm pretty confident you can get through this.
Okay.
I just pulled this off some random website, just cut and paste in some different ones from different websites. And I don't even have all the answers for these. So the hard ones, I might have to even look up later if you don't know them. But
okay.
I will ask that you please, you know what? We'll do this Jeopardy style. Answer in the form of a question.
Okay.
And do not answer until I'm completely done reading the quote.
Got it.
The first quote is, "You can be my wingman anytime."
What is Top Gun?
That is correct.
Bullshit. You can be mine.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
What is Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Speaking of Saturday afternoon movies, what I'll take the Daily Double and bet the ranch that what is Dirty Dancing.
That is correct.
And let's not quick trivia here. Even though he says when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong, he never did apologize to Johnny. He never did apologize to Patrick Swayze. It's just implied that he is apologizing.
Dr. Hausman, Jerry Orbach.
Yes, Jerry Orbach. Yep.
Yeah.
Classic before his Law and Order stint of many seasons before he passed away. Miss you, Jerry, every day.
He's awesome. Next would be, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die."
I have been practicing this. What is The Princess Bride? With which could be a whole topic on its own of pro wrestlers in movies.
Yes.
I'll take who is Andre the Giant for 1,000.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
That's a knife.
I purposely did not use my terrible Australian accent because I didn't want to give you any more hints that you needed.
If I had a knife, I would turn it so you could do the full turn of it. But what is one of my favorites, Crocodile Dundee. And I even go so far as to watching Crocodile Dundee 2 when it's on. There was a third one, and I think I did sit through it, but I'm with 1 and 2 there. Third came much later, but the 2 in the 80s were solid.
2 is definitely, we can get a show on sequels, but 2 is definitely a sequel that I feel is better than the first one. I like number 2 better.
I liked his buddy who tried to be a fake gangster, but he sold like office supplies.
Yes.
Everyone's like, that's a bad guy. That's a
bad Leroy Brown, I believe
yes.
His name. Yes.
Solid. Yeah, I'll agree with you. I will go that. I think 2 shines. Yep. So I like it.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
It's good. Greed is right. Who is Michael Douglas playing Gordon Gekko in What is Wall Street? Oliver Stone.
Who is GameStop employees?
Stonk.
Again, not going the accent. I must break you.
Uh, and he tried, but as Rocky said, go for it. What is Rocky for?
Very good.
What
Very
is Rocky ending communism was I believe the alternate title.
good. Winning over the crowd, ending communism as we know it, all in the same boxing match.
All in the same boxing match, which complete two different sizes of human beings. I mean, when you put Dolph Lundgren, I mean, toe to toe, Stallone looks like he's like 5'4" compared to Dolph.
I don't know why they don't settle more world political disputes with boxing matches. I mean, it would be so much easier.
And since you, I believe you go down this rabbit hole, do you remember him playing He-Man in that
Of course.
Masters of the Universe? Yep.
Of course.
Little Hollywood trivia, was watching a documentary on that, and apparently Stallone walks on the set of that movie and looks up at Dolph and goes, "I can't believe you gave that guy lines." So I'm not knowing if that's a true story, but that's what I've watched. I've heard. Yeah.
Next quote. It's a short one. There can only be one.
There can only be one. Now I'm going down actually multiple for this.
Or excuse me. There can only be one. There can be only one. I must be having some trouble here. There can be only one.
I hear it.
I think I know what movie this is from.
I'm going to kick myself. Which one is it?
I think it's Highlander, right?
I see. That's what I thought was a Highlander, but I for some reason I kept putting that out of my mind. But yes, it is.
In the comment section, you can tell us if we're right or wrong in some of these. Because like I said,
and I know there's probably a super fan of Highlander out there that's going to be all over me for that one.
Way to go! Good job. Good job.
There are some genres that you can take me down, but I'm not strong everywhere. But that's.
Well, this will bring you back to your bread and butter.
Oh, I hope so.
All I need are some tasty waves, a cool buzz, and I'll be fine.
And I'll be fine. No shirt, no shoes, no dice.
No dice.
What is Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Another classic Saturday movie that even if it's edited, I'll still watch it.
Yes. It's fantastic. There was a Family Guy episode the other day where Peter took Lois out to eat, and he called Damone because he forgot his wallet at home, and they keep shooting back to the scene with Damone. Oh, really busy here.
Really, I mean, I got a lot to do. People say, how can you be friends with them? And I defend you. There's a lot.
I just say that's just Damone.
That's just Damone. You just don't know the guy.
Next
he really didn't have a career. That's a shame.
Yeah, he was. Next one is, I'm pausing for effect here. Mm-hmm. No wire hangers.
Mm-hmm. That's Mommy Dearest.
Correct.
Faye Dunaway. Is that who?
Yes.
I can only claim that I watch a lot of movies that I've watched that.
How about this one?
Yep.
Wolverines with exclamation point.
Red Dawn. What is Red Dawn? Excuse me, Alec. What is Red Dawn? The original Red Dawn.
Yes, I haven't seen the second, and I won't.
I wouldn't do it. I won't see the second Footloose. I won't see the second Red Dawn.
Correct. Those are all correct answers.
All correct answers.
Yes.
I would accepted all of those.
Now, this is a series getting rebooted now that is just absolute fire. You and I both love it. The next quote is sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg. Sweep the leg. Give him a body bag. Yeah. What is the original Karate Kid?
Correct.
Yeah. I am almost through. I'm about halfway through the third season of Cobra Kai. He is in Okinawa right now.
Oh, perfect.
Going back to his roots. Yep.
Did he meet Kumiko?
And he took him to school. That's where I ended. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She looks completely different. If that's the same actress that played her in the sequel, that she looks completely different than she did back then. But Chosen, I can see definitely that being the same guy.
Yep.
Daniel still looks the same. She looks like it's somebody. Maybe they got somebody else, or she just changed a lot over the years. I don't know.
I was reading articles as the third season was coming out, and it's definitely her. But honestly, you could have just picked that actor, and I just would have believed, be like, that's her. That's not her.
Yeah.
Doesn't look anything like she did when she was young. So it must show you how young she was in that
Oh
second.
yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Next quote is, "I'll have what she's having."
What is When Harry Met Sally?
Correct.
Classic. I watched that movie. It's one of those movies I was too young to understand. And then as I got older, that's on a list. Like, what were my parents thinking through some of these scenes that I sat through?
Next is, "Strange things are afoot at the Circle K."
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Oh, come on. Come on, Nick. Oh, message board's gonna blow up if you don't know this.
oh, it's right.
Do 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 do.
Gremlins.
Oh, I'm sorry. The
What is
correct
it?
answer is, what is Bill and Ted's Excellent
Excellent
Adventure?
Adventure. Oh,
You you might actually.
the Circle K convenience store. Oh,
I don't know. I don't know what the appropriate punishment is for this.
I think
Uh,
I have to. I think I have to do a lap or do what was the what was the the movie with the hockey players with
what, Mystery Alaska?
Mystery Alaska? Do I have to do a slide on the ice, bare butt?
I was just thinking, I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your
Mercy on your
soul.
soul. What is Billy Madison for the win?
I'd buy that for $1! Exclamation point. You feel
Um,
really emphatic. I'd buy that for $1.
um,
I do know this one too.
I can't remember the name. Right now, I can hear, see, he's not a machine, he's a man. Because right now it's breaking down all my prowess as a movie quoter. Give me the title. I can't remember. I can see him.
Peter Weller is the actor.
Yes. I
Part
can
man, part machine, all cop.
um RoboCop.
Correct.
Thank you.
I'd buy that for $1. I believe it was just a TV show that the bad guys were watching.
Yeah, but I could still see it. And
Yeah.
I believe part of that was shot at Homestead at the
Oh
old
yeah.
Homestead Works. Yeah.
I did not know that.
So there's some movie trivia there. Yeah, I think when the woman is like running and then because everything's like burnout industrial in that movie. I think they did. If it's not Homestead, it's somewhere local. Maybe the old J&L Works, but it was one of the old steel mills that they shot some of that through.
All right, let's bring it home. We have 3 left. I'm fairly confident you'll be able to zoom through these.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay. Bring.
Take a deep breath. Be ready. Here we go. Life goes by pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
What is one of our first bought VHS movies of my household when VHS movies were like $40? What is Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Another movie that Ted Turner, I think, owned in his back pocket.
That is correct. Very good.
Yes.
The next one, I could probably say this backwards, and you would know it. It's 106 miles to Chicago.
I'll go.
We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes.
It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses.
It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses.
It's dark. What is the original Blues Brothers?
That is correct. And actually, that was the end of my list. I lied.
Well, and I will say with ending with that, that's on for a sequel show of sequels that shouldn't have been made. The Blues Brothers 2000. It's just it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to watch.
I think by my count, you probably got
I
maybe
think I missed three.
maybe 2 or 3 wrong out of about 15 to 20. So yeah, you're batting. You're in the
I'm in the Hall of
mid
Fame.
80s. You're in the mid 80s there. You know.
I mean, I'm not a first ballot, but I think I'm getting in.
Yeah, yeah, you're all right. You're all right.
So I'll tell you right, I miss Highlander, Bill and Ted, which upsets me, and then RoboCop. RoboCop was a reach, but I should have known that because for whatever reason I kept thinking Running Man, but I knew that wasn't right. And yeah, so I mean, of that same vein, I think they may have even came out around the same time. I think maybe 87. I want to say for RoboCop.
Well, you can get Revenge on Me in our next show. You can do like a music lyric, 1980s music lyrics, and have me like fill in the blanks or something.
Well, that would be solid. I know if I take it down the lithium lane, it's there's no contest. You'll be running away with it.
Yeah, don't do 90s alternative. It will not end pretty.
I think we'll have to have a guest with my wife on because you two can just take the show from there. You two own the lithium channel.
Oh, but that where'd you want to go from here?
Well, I think this was a solid show. I think we just want to thank everybody out there listening to us. There'll be more shows to come. Hopefully, more frequent. We are dads with a lot of play practices and jobs and the like going on, but we try to get these out as many as we can. And I'd like to hand it off to my co-host Jay. Let them know where they can find us, Jay.
Absolutely. Just to piggyback real quick off what Nick said there. I mean, our episodes, they're probably not going to be on every single week. We'll get them on as much as we can. There was a big gap between when we were on last time and this time. So we had a lot more to talk about this time. So a little bit of a longer show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But yeah, feel free to email any questions, thoughts, ideas, critiques, feedback, anything. Email us at dramadads@gmail.com. You can find the show, which you're watching it right now, so you already know where to find it. But tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody. Look us up on Selective Memories on our YouTube channel. We're also on Facebook at Selective Memories and trivia, and Twitter at Drama Dads. So look for us at all those locations. Hit us up. Content will be loading very soon here, and we look forward to interacting with our audience, hopefully building an audience and going from there. We do enjoy doing this. Hopefully you enjoy hearing it, and we look forward to hearing any ideas you have for the show.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So Jay, thank you for another great episode. I am Nick Falcone. With me always is Jay Mesher, and we bid you good night.
Have a good day, folks. Thanks very much.
See you, everybody. Thanks for listening.